Britain has a huge problem in terms of prison capacity, and we've been given insider access to a prison here in Suffolk, which is going to become not only the biggest jail in the UK, but the largest in northwest Europe. This is HMP Highpoint in Suffolk. It currently holds nearly 1,500 inmates, but is being increased by a further 700. Here it's usually those convicted of non-violent offences such as drug-related crimes, burglary and theft, and sentences range from a few weeks to whole-life orders. One of those behind bars for supplying drugs is Ross. We spoke with him. How long have you been here?
I've been here about a year and a half. Well, the prison's quite full all the time, ain't it? So they probably do need the extra spaces.
Does it feel quite crowded?
Yeah, it's definitely overcrowded.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as in this prison to other prisons.
Yeah, some places.
It's quite good here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what sort of a regular day look like for you?
We just have to come out in the morning. We come out at 8 o'clock. We have to do all our work. Like, some people go off to the workshop, some people do like courses and stuff. Yeah, we don't. Other than that, we don't really do much.
What do you do in the?
So I'm the OMU orderly, which I'll do the speeches in the morning, the inductions for the new people coming in, and then I help them with any questions they have about their tag or going home, DCAT, stuff like that. Yeah.
What sort of so it's mostly questions about that. They're asking about their tag and things like that.
Yeah. OMU's for your offender manager, so it's about getting released and.
With the prison population increasing by 100 a week on average, Highpoint holds exactly the kind of inmates that the government thinks should be spending more time serving community orders rather than in prison. 80% of offending in the UK is reoffending, and while they're here, many are being put to work. One of the sites here is a replica railway station with inmates learning how to fix and maintain track, as well as signalling training and overhead lines. Around 80% of crime in the UK is reoffending, but the latest data shows offenders who are employed within 6 weeks after leaving prison have a reoffending rate of almost half of those out of work. Steve is also in prison for a drug-related offence, but is currently a manager overseeing the fixing of electricals, including large-scale printers. How long have you sort of worked here?
I've worked here nearly a year, almost. I've come to the jail in April, got a job here in May.
And what's that given you? Has it sort of changed you? Because I imagine when you came in, it's probably quite lonely.
Yeah, but it gives you routine and structure. Obviously, gives you opportunities for your future. I've met new friends, and it just occupies your time. Well, like I say, I'm not making out like I'm a career criminal and that, but when I was in jail before, there wasn't a lot going on, and you start to lay around in your bed all day and that, and it's not good for your mind, you know.
James Timpson, who was chief executive of the company of the same name until he became a minister last year, is passionate about this. While he was the boss of Timpson's, 10% of their employees were former convicts, and he also offered workshops on shoe repairs and photo processing from within prison. And he's here today to break ground to grapple with the immediate problem of prison capacity. We've been looking around HMP Highpoint today, looking at some of the programmes, the track programme, for example, the railways, everything from that to sort of textiles. I mean, the work they do seems to be fantastic. Is that the case across the board, or is this a particular sort of exemplar?
I mean, you're right. The things we saw today were exceptional. And the work on the railways and the overhead lines, I've never seen that before. I've been around lots of prisons over the years and seen lots of really good workshops and some weaker workshops. But what is clear, we need places where people can gain skills so when they leave, they can get a job. Because if they have a job, they're far less likely to come back into prison again and fewer victims. So what I've seen here today is really, really good, but we need more of it. And we've got to the fortunate position now where there are lots of employers, like my old business Timpson, that are happy to employ prison leavers. So actually we've got enough employers. What we need to do is to get more prisoners job ready, so when they leave, they're ready to go.
And is that a case of persuading more companies to run schemes like that?
Yeah, I think it's the first step for businesses is to employ prisoners when they leave. And the next step is when they want to set up academies and workshops in prison to train people up on the specific skills like we've seen today. And when I did in the Timpson business, I set up shoe repair workshops, photo processing workshops. So when you've got people in prison, they learn the skills, they gain the confidence, so when they leave, they've got a job guaranteed. And it's that guaranteed job which makes a massive difference, because they don't need to go on to universal credit. It's easy for them to get housing and they're sort of back in the game. They know they need a job on release that's well paid, that they've got skills to do, so they don't let the families down again, and they don't go into this this cycle of reoffending. So they were really up for it. And you know, I've seen this. I've been doing this for 20 years, and you want to see people in prison who have hope and have confidence. So when they are released, they don't come back.